I haven't done a video out here in a while. I'm gonna give a little morning tour. It rained last night, really hard. For a few hours, woke me up. So I've been up since about 3 o'clock in the morning. Sun just came up. And shut this gate. It's very wet. There we go. I think we should do a little tour. I planted some new bananas. This is an amwa. Starting to grow pretty nice. This garden bed is really starting to get out of control. There's cosmos in here, and cassava, and sun hemp, and marigolds, and zinnias. There's some moringa here in the end. Everything seems to be really happy in there. I put this new cover up. I took the passion fruit down because the passion fruit was taking over. So this is a nice little area to store water and clean up and make my compost. And put a table in. A little bit easier setup now for the compost. You can look at the avocado. The avocado has really been doing much better. It's recovered from whatever kind of fungus it had, and now we've got about 100 of these baby avocados coming in. It's gonna take a while to ripen, but at least they're growing. I put some cassava in over here and some sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are really happy. Lining up here. Here's another banana. This is a dwarf nemois, so he's not supposed to get as big, but I'm kind of just growing him here to get the pups. I mean, you can see what happens here. It doesn't get a lot of sun. Gets a decent amount at noon, but morning and afternoon, not so much because of the fence and then because of this, but this will all change once we harvest this in a few months. There was a moringa that decided it was going to grow again, sprouted out from down there. And look where it's gone. They grow so fast. Then I put in some Mexican sunflower here that's coming up. There's some sweet almond here that I got the flower off of the other day. It smelled really good. Here's more moringa, some pigeon pea here, and more moringa. Transplanted a cranberry hibiscus. That's what this is. There's also some ground cover perennial peanut down there. Just trying to spread that around too. And then I've got some mullein. Let's see how it did in the rain. Oh, it did great. Called the toilet paper plant. That one's actually growing pretty good. I'll probably have to move this moringa out of the way. There we go. That's a little better. I can get some sun. And then there's some more cosmos that are really happy here. This moringa I literally just cut down from the other side and stuck it in the ground. And it's starting to grow. Slowly but surely. Trying to transplant these on my plantain. And over here we have a mess from all the rain. This is sun hemp that all fell down from the wind and the rain. in the washout. We got a couple ones that did okay. I wonder if they'll stand back up or not. I don't think they will. We'll probably just give them the day and see how they do. Luckily, I can just chop them and leave them right where they are for ground covering. Of course, there's this big moringa back here. Just a big stump that just keeps growing more and more moringa out of it. There's a yellow canna lily. It's not sprouting or it's not flowering at the moment, but it was when I planted it. It's probably trying to establish there. Also in here are some cosmos and some more cassava. See the cassava. The idea here was to grow some stuff up high enough to shade this bench which holds the chicken food. So just so it doesn't get hit by the sun and get really hot in the afternoon. Here's another banana. This is a Coca-Cola banana. I think that's how you say it. Coca-Cola. I don't think it's supposed to get very tall, but it's definitely got some room to grow here because it's right by this downspout. And when it rains, it gets massive amounts of water, and there's a lot of compost down there. So things should be growing pretty well. You can see the size of these potato leaves. They're huge. So the sweet potatoes are really happy, and they're starting to take over. They're growing out there. They're growing everywhere. Then over here we have some baby plantains sprouting up, which I'm going to relocate to a new area because this area is getting pretty dense. But if we follow this up, we got some plantains, finally. Get a good look at those. They're looking pretty good. I was a little worried about this tree because it got cold and it got real brown, and I didn't know how it was going to do, but I just tried to keep watering as much as I could and put more mulch and nitrogen fixers around it, and I think it's okay. It's definitely tilting right now because of the heavy plantains on top, so that's why when this is finished, I'm gonna move it, and I'm gonna move these little babies. And maybe I'll let one grow here, but I just feel like this area is not really, if I get a strong wind, it's just gonna land right on the roof. Not really the best spot for that. And then here I have some, these are blue butterfly peas. And some of them are growing pretty good. The idea here is to have these grow up the side of the chicken coop to shade the chicken coop. And it's like a good flower to make tea, and a really medicinal flower. So see if that can actually grow there, or if it's too hot, or if it's up off the ground too much. I'm not sure. It's not really growing fast, but at least they're growing. And I got more Mexican sunflower. The chickens eat this. And the interesting thing with this is it used to have aphids, but now it's got ladybugs. And they ate all the aphids. So, circle of life here. Got a passion fruit that I'm probably gonna take down here. It probably will recover now. I may leave it for a little bit to see, but it was from a cutting, and I think they're better when I grow them from seed. They just seem stronger and more resilient to the soil that we have here, sandy soil. So I think I'd rather have a banana there that I can walk around and that it will shade, and then I can kind of keep how I want it, and then chop it down when it's done. So I've got this plumeria that's starting to grow in all kinds of directions. It's got a lot of pink flowers on it. Smells really good. Oh my god, it smells really good. And there's some more bananas back here. These are ice cream bananas, and they're doing really good growing here. They're getting a lot of sun, and there's some new babies coming up. One there, of course, there and there. So maybe I'll transplant one of those to the other side too, to keep it going. The lychee tree probably really liked that rain. It seems okay. The chickens eat a lot of the leaves that are down low. They jump up and grab them. So it needs to start growing taller. But it's starting to get in the way, and this chicken coop is starting to take over. It's taking up almost half the chicken coop when you go in there. So I don't know, maybe it needs to be trimmed so I can do it, so I can get in there to do some work. These girls are loving it this morning because it rained so much, so they're super happy that they get access to this, everything that's wet. We do have 2 broody girls. Let's see if we can get a first-hand look at what broody chickens are like. Here we go. They're not really eating. They're not really drinking. They're just sitting on their eggs. So I'm gonna have to do something with them today to break them of their broodiness, because it's probably been about 2 weeks of this. So this has got to end soon, because they're just not doing well, and they're starting to look sickly. So I'm gonna put them in a separate area so they can start moving around, stretch their legs, get out of their broodiness. We got some more sun hemp over here that's going to seed. I'm gonna harvest this so I can replant. This is a great nitrogen fixer. It's a legume. It's you can lay on the ground for a ground cover. You can chop and drop to go back nitrogen into the soil. It's got all of these yellow flowers that attract pollinators. And it's just a really easy nitrogen fixer to grow, because it sprouts so quickly and grows so fast, and you can chop it and then it'll grow again right from where you chopped it. So it's great. What's not great about it is that you have to hold it up, because it's so windy here that the wind, when it blows just a little bit, it'll knock these over. So I've deployed the string to the side of the chicken coop technique. You can see that pink string is in there. That's holding them up. If you hear this bird, this is Pedro. He does this every day. He makes all the sounds that he knows. He jumps up and down. And this happens for like 3 hours every morning. So he's the songbird. Oh, then we have some shampoo ginger. This is doing really good. Shampoo ginger. It has this big red flower that comes out of it that you could squeeze. It's called shampoo ginger. I've never tried to use it, but this is the first time growing it. I've seen it before, but I've never grown it. So I want to try that. There's some tomatoes in here. This is popcorn senulata. And there's a little red spinach next to it. And in here there's some more flowers and some spinach and some perennial peanut. There's also some gooseberries in there that are going to try to grow. Haven't grown gooseberries before either, so I'll try that. There's the big, the first Mexican sunflower. That's a perfect specimen here. This is the one that I took originally and moved it all around. So it's doing really good. It's really happy. It had a bunch of aphids on it. And then the ladybugs came, and there are really just very minimal signs of aphids on this now. So nature is really working its circle of life. And then I also have some ginger down here. This is called a Galanga Spinach, ginger. And there is spinach over here. It's a Ciso spinach. That's this one. And it doesn't get a lot of sun here, so it's not growing fast, but this is a really good tasting spinach compared to what I have on this side, which is growing much better, but I don't really like the taste of it. I guess some people do. This is longevity spinach. That's the big one. I guess it's super easy to grow. I don't even do much to it. It's actually sitting underneath this cranberry hibiscus that's really, really happy that I just having to keep trim because it's just growing in every direction. And these leaves are like ridiculously tasty. We made a salad with this last week and it was really good. There's some pepper in here. I'm not sure what kind of pepper. There's also some more shampoo ginger. There's a papaya leaf that fell from last night. I'm gonna throw in there. I just throw all the debris in the yard in the middle of these ice cream bananas because it just feeds them more organic matter. I'm really happy. Here's my situation here. I got this one that if it sprouts bananas, it's gonna be on the roof. So that probably has to move. We'll see. But there's 10 babies in this one too. So they're all gonna have to relocate to their new home. I'll probably keep a couple here because it's actually a nice spot to have some shade because of these papayas are here too, and they're really happy now that it's starting to rain. They're doing their thing, getting all cleaned off, dropping all their dead leaves, and they're looking much, much better. What else we got? Another pepper. We got a Barbados Cherry that I tied up because it's starting to hang out into the path, so trying to train it to work in the right direction and see how that goes. I think it's just going to want to do what it's going to want to do. More cosmos, some more moringa, some more Mexican sunflower, and over here we got some new stuff. This stuff is going to have to eventually go in the ground. We got the world's best smallberry from Green Dreams. We got some ubi purple yams starting to grow. That's sage back there. Ground cover wood sorrel. There's sugarcane. That's sugarcane. You can just eat the stalk of that. It's tasty sugar. Can't wait for that. There's a chaya in there that I have to plant somewhere. I have one in the front yard, but I might do another one. This one's a toothache plant, and it's flowering. It's got these crazy flowers. It's doing really well. Back there is Salvia. You can see that's flowering too. It has some pretty flowers on it. Then there's turmeric that's coming out of this pot right here, and it's just really happy. It's shooting out of there. And there's another banana here. This is a Mysore banana. And I gotta get this out of the pot too and put this in the ground so it can really start to grow. And then this is what happens when you transplant one. This is an ice cream banana. It just took off probably about 6 months of growth, and it's getting close to putting out some bananas, putting out a flower. And then there's a bunch more babies around this one. The babies are just coming out like crazy here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pups there. So I wouldn't even call this one a pup. I'm probably just gonna have to leave this one because it's so big it's gonna be hard to get out of there. So I'll have to remove this barrier around it, get the broad fork, pop these out, these little ones, and then replant them. And I'm gonna replant them over here. This is the new area. So this is completely open to the sun until later afternoon in the summertime. And as you can see, it's really wet and really under construction. So I've broad forked the whole thing, and I've started to lay some ground cover, just some cardboard down to block the weeds. And then my plan is to put some more organic material down and dump some mulch down to get everything started and going, since I have access to mulch, which is really nice. So this one is my new project. I'm going to fill this with pretty much everything that I've got and have a mini food forest right here. And this area is the raised bed section, which is really coming along nicely now that it's starting to settle in. The hardest part with these raised beds is just keeping the amount of material in here, because when it rains at any point, like, this material just goes away. It's like this bed was filled all the way to the top when I planted it, and now it's 6 inches, maybe even more, just gone, because that material just sinks into the earth and gets eaten. But I got a basil plant that's really happy. I've got a tobacco plant that's getting eaten, but it did flower. It has some more flowers coming out of it. I don't know if I should cut these or what. I don't know much about tobacco. This is from Georgia, and it's growing, but doesn't look extremely happy now that it's getting chewed on. But it got chewed on when it was younger too, so it made it through that. So we'll see if it can make it through this too. This is a wild bergamot. It seems to be growing and really happy. Yep, planted it here, and I planted it here. It's just an herb. It's really spicy, if you like a spicy herb. And then in here is Everglades tomatoes. There's some cosmos in here, of course, and there's some red spinach. This actually is a sunchoke, which is like a tuber that you can eat cooked. That was in here last season, and that one obviously I didn't get out, so it's growing again. Really pretty flowers though too on those. And then of course the Everglades tomatoes, growing really, really well. Becca just was out here this morning stringing them up. This is the method we use to hold these up and keep them tidy, because they will just be very floppy, and if you use a cage, it's just a mess, and it's always tough to keep it going. So there's these little pieces on it, nice little pieces that hook on to hold it up, and then they just grow really, really big when they're held like this, and it's easier to access them, and really nice in a raised bed because you don't even have to bend down. The tomatoes are literally just at your eye level, so you can see. And here we go with some coming out. They're these tiny little tomatoes, but they're supposed to make it through summertime. Everglades tomatoes. This is my first time growing on so much, so we'll see how they do. In this bed is one of my favorites. This is my white sweet potato, and it doesn't have a problem growing in any of the soil that I supply for it. It grows in like the dirt, the sand, the compost, whatever. It's really happy, and I get really good potatoes through the summer, and then through the winter time it kind of dies back, and that's when I start to harvest them. There's more Everglades tomatoes in here. There's some Comfrey here that's growing. I'm trying to grow Comfrey to feed the chickens, and it grows okay. It doesn't grow as fast as I thought it would, but I'm just going to let it grow and see what it turns into, because it's going to get covered by these sweet potatoes. Some wind's picking up now. I think we're going to get another round of storms, which is probably a good thing. We need the rain. In here is a good example of some more Everglades tomatoes. And in here is kind of a little experimental bed. We have to fix these Everglades tomatoes. There's some ganja in here, and there is some ginger in here, and some turmeric in here. These are turmeric. That is ginger. This is turmeric. So I have a chart with these labeled, but these are different types of peppers. They're not growing great, but this bed is kind of an experimental bed. I've done some, put some manure in here and some compost and some like thin wood chips to cover it. And I think that it's I don't think I broke it up enough. It might be a little too compacted to really get good drainage and nutrient delivery. Oh, this is interesting in this bed. This has thousands of these millipedes. They don't seem like they're really harming anything. They're just feasting on the mulch and the decaying matter that's in here. I read that if they eat all the decaying matter, that they could start going after the living matter roots, but they have so much to eat that I'm not really worried about it. The whole thing is decaying matter. It's this whole bed minus these things that are growing that are also feeding off of the decaying matter. So we'll see what happens here. I'm watching this close because there are a lot of them. And they're in the compost too, but if you dig in the soil, it's like amazing black soil that they're creating here by eating the food and using this. Like it's pretty amazing. So I think they're beneficial. So far they have been, but it's a never-ending saga of the millipede apocalypse. This is how much it rained. This wheelbarrow is completely filled with rainwater. I decided to put this Dwarf Cavendish in this pot with some philodendron in there. The other Dwarf Cavendish is actually flowering on the other side. We kind of skipped that, but not very impressive. There's a bunch of marigolds in here and 2 different kinds. I heard that this kind doesn't do good with preventing pests to come in, but these kind, the smaller ones, I think these ones are the French marigolds, and these ones are called something else, and I don't know the name of them. Wish I did. But I've been replanting these seeds everywhere. When it's dry, I can show you how crazy these seeds actually come out of these. Maybe I can do it with this one. Nope, that one's empty. Maybe here. Oops. These are the seeds. Each one of those are a seed. And they'll grow new marigolds. So I've been replanting those everywhere, especially around here. And in here, there's a couple different kinds of tomatoes in here. They're doing okay. They're not super happy. There's some jicama in here, which is another root vegetable. I guess it's a vegetable. Not real sure about this. Becca wanted to do jicama, so we're doing it. There's also some oregano right here, and some parsley that's just barely hanging on with this heat. And then we got a new bed over here, and this thing is kind of like the first bed on the other side. It's got some extra stuff though. It's got sunflowers, and it's got 2 different kinds of watermelon that are gonna grow in here. Crimson Sweet, and I don't remember the name of the other one, but I have it marked down. And then I have Seminole pumpkin in here that's just starting. And I think I started it too late because it's gonna get really hot, and I don't know how it's gonna grow, but we're gonna try and see. There's also a bunch of sun hemp in here, which is one of my favorites, and there's of course the cassava in here that's gonna grow as well in case the Seminole pumpkin doesn't do what it's supposed to do. And then I said sunflowers and the cosmos and some zinnias and some more cosmos on this side, and I can probably put in some more stuff over here. We'll see how it starts to develop. And then back here we've got this peacock plant. This has beautiful flowers, came from Costa Rica, and just the seed of course. And then this one is actually a second generation that I grew on the other side of the yard, and now it's just happy to be here. It just finally started to grow a lot. I'm going to take all this cardboard back here and then move it to cover the ground over there. This is a desert rose, came from Pearl. It's growing really good. I keep trimming it, keeps coming back. This is an orchid tree. So see how this does. This was just a crazy purchase for a seed order that I did, and I was like, I gotta try that orchid tree. This is lemongrass. Justin just showed me how to replant this, so I'm gonna replant some of this back in the new section over here. We got some red hibiscus. There's some more popcorn senulata. This is the ayahuasca, the copy vine, which really like the rain. It really likes the rain and the heat, and it seems like it's really happy now. It went to seed a couple months ago. It still has seeds on it, and it's starting to really settle in here. It's starting to figure out what it likes and where it's gonna go, and it's going in all directions. This grew from a seed. It's probably close to 5 years old, and you can see these vines now just starting to come out and talk to us pretty much. I don't know what I'm going to do with this other than grow it. Who knows if it will survive through winter again. It had a hard time last winter, and that's why I think it went to seed. But now it seems like it's coming back in full force. So see how it does. Becca has her orchid collection going over here. They're really beautiful. Beautiful orchids, all different colors, shapes and sizes. I got some seedlings coming up here. I got a bunch of papaya seeds I just threw in here. They're all popping up. All different kinds of tomatoes and spinach and watermelons in this. There's some moringa in here that's trying to come up. And then some other things that I'm germinating here. More moringa. This is supposed to be ivory gourd, and it doesn't want to come up. So maybe it's not meant to be. And then back on this side, we have a lemon tree that I gotta plant. There's also a fig down there that's gotta be planted. And in here, there's some Kirby and oregano. It smells so good, and it just keeps growing, can't stop it. And then there's some passion fruit here from Guatemala that we're gonna try to grow on the vine, maybe on the fence back on that side. And then of course my little section of succulents and jade, and it's all really happy. This is aloe plant. It's starting to do pretty good in this pot. It's like the things are so heavy that it's like it has to sit on the pot. So I just give it a little bit of water and some more compost, and it's been growing really well. And then we might as well end with our katuk, which is like a tree spinach. Tastes good. You can eat this, make a salad out of it, or I can feed it to the girls. tasty, tasty. You can see all the plantains coming up. Wow, that one is really good. It's really sweet. This is like one of my favorite. This is the new flower coming out of this Dwarf Cavendish. You can see this, like, so this is eye level. So it's down here already. So this is gonna be close to on the ground as these come out. So if you can see where it is, it's like right in the path. So that's gonna be interesting. I don't know. It's hard for me to not let these bananas grow when they want to grow so well. So we'll see how it does. Now sun's starting to come out a little bit more. And Pedro is still going. Maybe we can end with the chickens. Happy girls. Morning kisses. You guys want some grubbits? Some little grubs? No, okay.